What's going on? This is a video comparing the Gen 4 Glock 19 to the CZ P-07. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some measurements on barrel length, slide thickness, frame thickness, grip thickness, stuff like that. I'm going to do that off camera so you don't have to watch me fumbling around with a dial caliper and sit through the pain of having to watch that. I'm going to take all the measurements with this analog standard measurement dial caliper, and I'll write them down and kind of make a little bit of a cheat sheet, so as we're looking through it side by side comparisons, I can just read off the sheet, and it should save a little bit of time. But in the video we're going to compare the sights, the triggers, how they feel, how they shoot, I guess accuracy is going to be a little bit subjective, because whichever gun I'm more accurate with might not be the same for you or anybody else, so that, you know, that comes down to the shooter. But generally these are very good quality guns. They're going to be more accurate than most shooters are, so basically what it's going to come down to is which one am I more accurate with. I'm not going to put a whole bunch of rounds through it and make you guys sit through that. I'll probably do, I don't know, 2 mags a piece. So with that, we'll start with magazines. Glock mag is a 15 round, the CZ mag is a 15 round. The CZ mag is steel. The Glock has that polymer over the steel sleeve insert. Sights on the Glock. Okay, obviously you just saw the mags. Both of these firearms are cleared. I'm sorry I don't get into doing all that shit right off the bat. I don't really need to, because I know they're both safe. They're both cleared. You don't know that, I get that, I understand that, but even if they're not, you can't get hurt. Anyway, we're gonna start with the sights. These are just the typical polymer Glock sights. There's nothing special here. You can get aftermarket sights for these to make them really, really nice, but both of these guns are in their stock form, so I didn't wanna put a different sight on there, because we're just comparing stock sights, stock trigger, stock everything. The CZ sights from the factory, they are steel sights. They're tritium filled, they do glow in the dark. Very, very nice sights, very easy to pick up. In my opinion, these sights, for me anyway, are definitely better than the standard Glock sights. I love these sights. Let's talk about the trigger. Your Glock 19 is a striker fired handgun, so it's a single action only. You've got some squish, some take up right before you hit this wall, and then it gets a little bit more squishy, and then you've got your break, and then your reset's not too bad really, and then you've got your break again. Stock Glock triggers are not known for being really, really good. They're not known for feeling super nice. They are reliable though, so I mean, really, when it comes down to it, that's kind of all that matters. Now, the CZ trigger, this is a double action, single action. And what that means, right now the hammer is down, but if I pull the trigger, the hammer goes back and then comes forward, hitting the firing pin. That's the double action part of this. The single action is the trigger is cocked, and then all you do is pull the trigger. The CZ trigger, it's got a little bit of take up. It doesn't really get spongy. It's pretty smooth. The wall and the break is right there. And then the reset. It's a little further out than the Glock, but it's a little bit louder, and that trigger really pushes your finger out of the way so that it can reset, and then you've got your break. Personally, just doing the dry fire stuff right here, I think the CZ's got the better trigger. Weight, CZ is going to be a little bit heavier than the Glock. The CZ's bigger. The Glock's easier, a little bit easier to conceal. This is right here. This is my concealed carry handgun that I carry. So without any further rambling, we'll get to shooting these real quick. I want to talk about the holsters. This is the holsters that I use, or the holster that I use for the Glock. This is an inside the waistband, because I do conceal carry this. Fits right in there. Works quite well. For the CZ, this is another We the People holster, but this is an outside the waistband because I do not conceal carry this. It's just a little bit too big for me to conceal carry comfortably. So what I'm going to do is I'll wear both of these at the same time, and I'll do a mag with the CZ and then a mag with the Glock. That way I'm not walking back and forth switching out, and it'll kind of save some time. So anyway, let's get into the side by side and we'll talk about the measurements, and then we'll get on to shooting this. Okay, so let's get into our measurements here real quick. Like I said, I already took all the measurements off camera so you wouldn't have to watch me fumble around with the dial caliper. Okay, so starting off with our Glock. Our slide thickness at the thickest point, which is going to be right here by the slide release to the other side here, is we are looking at 1 inch and 187 thousandths. So, I mean, really in the grand scheme of things, that's not very much. Our Glock barrel length from the back of the chamber to the tip of the barrel is 3 inches 872 thousandths. So we're over 3.5 inches. We're almost looking at a 4-inch barrel here for that, which is just pretty good. And our grips from front to back, from finger lug right here to the back strap, we're looking at 2 inches and 91 thousandths. So just over 2 inches, not real wide there. Our thickness, which is going to be from side to side here, we're looking at 1 inch 181 thousandths. So not quite 1.25 inches, which again is not bad. This is not a super big gun by any means. Looking at our CZ, and we're gonna go from the thickness at our thickest point, which is right here on our decocker from side to side, because it is an ambi decocker. We are looking at 1 inch 455 thousandths. So that's just about 1.5 inches. It's a pretty thick gun. This is a big gun. Our barrel length, again, from the back of the chamber to the tip of the barrel, we're looking at 3 inches 593 thousandths. So that's about 3.5 inches, which is shorter than the Glock barrel. And then our grips front to back, from the front to the back of the back strap on the CZ, we're looking at 2 inches 137 thousandths. And then our thickness side to side, we're looking at 1 inch 159 thousandths. So on our thickness here, we're actually a little bit thinner than the Glock is on our grip. Our front to back grip, we are thicker than the Glock, and we've got a shorter barrel, and then overall thickness on the grip, or the frame rather, is thicker than the Glock. The CZ definitely does feel quite a bit better though. So now we'll get to shooting both of these guns. I'll do a side by side so you can see them side by side, and you can get a visual idea of the type of the size we're talking about here, just in the thickness, and then our overall length. The CZ is a little bit longer, so right here at the back, you line them up good. Yeah, the CZ is a little bit longer. And then grip length, we're looking at the CZ being just a little bit taller here in the bottom of the grips. So anyway, we'll get to shooting these. Okay, so I'm gonna run a few mags, or a couple mags through each one of these. I've got a silhouette target here, I've got a tree target here, and we'll see which one is more accurate for me, which one I think is going to be more accurate as a whole, and we'll just kind of take it from there. I've got both of these on right now. This is kind of awkward. I don't make a practice of shooting like this. I wouldn't suggest making a practice of shooting like this. Anyway, let's get to it. I'm gonna start out with the Glock first, and I'll put a couple rounds on the silhouette, and we'll go to the tree, and we'll go back and forth. Okay, so first impressions, while shooting, I definitely like the CZ trigger a whole lot better. It feels better even when you're dry firing it, but when you're shooting it, it feels really good too. Definitely more accurate with the CZ. That first shot, that double action shot though, I'm gonna have to get used to that. Either that, I'll just pull a hammer back each time. But again, this is not a carry gun for me, so I don't really have to worry about speed when I draw the gun out and fire that first shot. The Glock, yeah, I don't like the trigger nearly as much. I don't like the sights nearly as much. The weight though, as far as just holding it out and acquiring the target and aiming, it feels a little bit more balanced to me. There's just negligible weight difference as far as felt weight goes, but as far as the balance goes, it feels a little bit more balanced to me than the CZ. The weight of the CZ does help a little bit as far as recoil and stuff like that goes, but you know, we get into too much of this stuff, we're just kind of splitting hairs. So I'll do one more mag of each one, and we'll wrap this up. So yeah, both pistols, great guns. Both are extremely reliable, didn't have any issues. Some pretty cheap ammo. This is Blazer aluminum case, 150 grain full leather jacket. Didn't have a problem with it. Shot a lot of different ammo from both guns and haven't had any, so they don't seem to be too ammo sticky. Which one would be best for you? Well, I don't know. You're gonna have to decide that. As far as concealed carry goes, the Glock is probably the best one for me. There's another reason why I do that. My wife also has a Gen 4 Glock 19. She loves Glock. So when we both go out and we both carry, I want to carry the same firearm that she does. That way, if something happens for whatever reason, she has to grab my firearm. It's the same, so she doesn't have to think about it. It's the same caliber, the same magazines, the sights are the same, the trigger's the same, everything's the same. She doesn't have to think about it. If it was just me, and I could comfortably carry the CZ P-07, by far I would go and carry the CZ. As far as both the guns go, I love the CZ. I think the CZ is a better firearm all around. And then, not to mention the price point of each one of these, the CZ is going to come in probably about $100 cheaper than the Gen 4 Glock 19. So you're getting a better gun, better sights, better trigger for a cheaper price. But anyway, that's about it. I appreciate you watching the video. Please hit the like button, share, please subscribe to the channel. It definitely helps me out a lot. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.